In this tutorial, I will be demonstrating the I-cord edging. It's an embellishment that will provide a finished edge to your piece, both your shawl or your cowl, and it'll also reinforce the shape of your piece. First, you're going to turn your work so that the wrong side is facing you. Then, with your working yarn, you'll be making a slip knot. Place that slip knot on a double point needle and then cast on 2 additional stitches. Your preferred cast on method is fine. Then slide those stitches to the other end of that double point needle. With a second double point needle, you're going to knit the first 2 stitches, and then slip the third stitch purlwise. For this demonstration, I'm going to be applying it to the cowl, so it'll be a little different when you apply it to the shawl. On a shawl, you'll start at one tip, at the beginning tip. So you see, we're going to be picking up stitches in the garter ridges. So you're going to pick up one stitch and then slide the slip stitch over. You're going to pass that previous slip stitch over and then slide those stitches to the other end of your double point needle. Essentially, you're sliding the double point needle through the stitches, but you're bringing them to the other side. Then you're going to knit the first 2 as before, slip the third stitch purlwise, pick up a stitch from the next garter ridge row, and then pass your slip stitch over that. Always remembering to slide the double point needle through so that the stitches are at the other end. Knit 2, slip the third purlwise, pick up through the ridge, right there at the edge, through the ridge, the next garter ridge, and pass the slip stitch over that picked up stitch. And you're going to continue with these steps around the entire perimeter of your shawl, around the bottom edge of your cowl. Always going into the edge of that garter ridge, the next garter ridge, when you pick up your stitch. Alright, I just want to point out here that the reason we work with the wrong side facing us is because the left side of the applied I-cord is not quite as tidy, and it does show the undercolor, while the right side of the I-cord edging is very neat, and it completely obscures that undercolor of the yarn, of the fabric that you're applying it to. So that's why we work from the wrong side. Now we're going to be going over the I-cord bar. So the edges of the I-cord bars, they're just kind of vulnerable there. So what we're going to be doing is tucking them in as we work the I-cord edging. So when you get to that I-cord bar, you're going to begin by working the same way that you have been, knitting 2, slip the third stitch purlwise. And when you go in from the back, from the wrong side, you're going to go in under that fabric, the under fabric, and then you're going to pull in, go through that I-cord bar all the way to the front and pull through when you're picking up your stitch. That's going to tug the edges of that I-cord bar in to neaten them up and just to hide that edge underneath the I-cord edging. Hide the edge of the I-cord bar, underneath the I-cord edging. We'll demonstrate that once more. So you're going to knit 2, slip purlwise that third stitch, and then go in. You see I'm going all the way to the front edge of that I-cord bar and pulling through to pick up my stitch. Then passing the slip stitch over that picked up stitch. So this is the third time that we're going in, while picking up our stitches, that we're going into the edge of the I-cord bar. Those 3 stitches now have tugged in that full unfinished edge, that exposed edge of the I-cord bar, and they've tucked them in under the I-cord edging. Now I can go back to just working with the edge of the fabric, picking up by going into that edge of the garter ridge. I'm just going to do a few more here, and then I'll show you the effect that has on the right side of the work. So now I've worked past the I-cord bar, and you can see that that exposed cast on, or on the other side bind off edge of the I-cord bar is nicely tucked in underneath the I-cord edging. You can find the pattern for the SuperScript shawl and all of my other designs on Ravelry. There's a link in the description. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a beautiful day.